Right guys, welcome to another one of my how-to videos. This is how to base wash. You can see I'm just going to shake up the paint there and put some on the palette. This is an Army Painter wash. They're cheap, they're easy, they're good. Some people water down paints. I really would recommend using a wash. It gives you far better consistency of colour. Okay, now with washes there's a lot of opinion on what size brushes to use. I tend to use a nice big brush when I'm covering large areas and just slather it on. Again, you can see I'm trying it out on the shoulder pad to see how it's going to give me. But what I'm going to do is now work it into every nook, every cranny and every possible part of this marine. Some people are of the opinion that it doesn't matter about the consistency of a wash. I tend to lean the other way. I think I want to get a nice consistent coat on the wash and then allow the wash to pool up and run off the appropriate surfaces. I mean, you can see that already where I'm painting on the model, it's running into the dips and crevices of the model and running off of the raised areas. You know, the reason for doing this is just to give it a more three-dimensional look. I know this may seem a little weird, being as the model is actually three-dimensional to begin with, but with models, obviously where they're smaller, the light doesn't shine off of them. So you're trying to create a three-dimensional look akin to a large full life thing, just to make them look better. Now here I'm just going to take some of the excess paint out of that crevice. If you get too much, it's not a big thing really. I'm just a little OCD on that. As I say, I like to have a good amount with good even coverage. I find it helps later on when I actually dry brush the model, which is what I'll be showing you guys next week. It's important to get complete coverage of the model, even if there's places you're not really going to see, like behind the backpack there, just because when you dry brush the model later, it'll ensure you have a consistency of colours and will allow you to add shading and shadowing where you want without it appearing lighter in areas that you wouldn't necessarily see. And trust me, what you might not notice when you're painting, you'll notice later on when you're playing, and it will bug you. Oh dear. Again, just making sure I'm working it over all the areas. You can see the wash is quite wet, so if you put too much wash in one place, it's fairly easy to just work it across the model and put it somewhere else. Yeah, basically this part of washing is just about getting the fundamental shadows and getting a three-dimensional look to it. It's not going to give you the effect of light. Shading that comes much later in the process. All this is going to do is really make the raised areas appear more raised and make the dipped areas appear more dipped and more in shadow, to really give your model that clearer, more distinct three-dimensional appearance from a distance. Now, washing isn't for everybody. Some people don't wash, some people just start with a darker colour and highlight, but I think I'm old school, so I always wash and dry brush. It's just the way it's the way I've always painted and probably the way I always will paint. I sometimes do it the other way, just for specific models, but this is my preferred method. And it's a really quick and easy method of doing it. Right, I'm just going to leave it to dry for a while. And through the magic of video, you can see that it's dried substantially. And you can see that it's gone into the darker parts. There you go, get some focus there. It's darker in the crevices where you'd expect shadow and lighter elsewhere. Right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe. and tell your friends about my channel. Thanks very much, and yeah, goodbye.